So there's 4 bands that I use all the time. These are 2 of them. So when I travel, I always carry these 2 with me because these are probably the most versatile. But I also have like one that's about half this size, and I have one that's a quarter this size, so it's a 4-pack. And if I, can take a lot of luggage, I'll carry all 4. But no matter, everywhere I go, I have these 2 bands on me. So we'll just use this one for now. This is probably the most versatile overall. It's kind of in the middle here, So just to simplify things, it doesn't really matter what flow I do. They're all kind of the same as far as the theory goes. So I normally start with a handle. So people always are worried they're going to tear the band. So bands usually tear because you do inappropriate things with them, or you attach the band to something sharp and it gets cut. So if you attach it to something with a small surface area, there's less distribution of the surface area, it's more likely to tear the band.
Right.
So I normally like to use a handle, and this is perfect because, and if able, I like a handle with a soft grip, basically. And to keep things simple, there's 2 basic ways that I attach the band. And it depends on the flow I'm doing, and also if I only have a band and I need to thicken it up, I'll attach it in a different way. So the first way is simply to wrap it around itself like this. Pretty simple, right? The second way, if it's a different type of flow where I want to use heavier weight, or if, like, let's say this band would be probably ideal, but I don't have that band and I want to make a thicker band, I just do it like this. And everybody wants to grab the band like this, which is okay sometimes, but it's kind of uncomfortable. So I put my hand through the band like that and then grab it like that, so my wrist supports most of the load. And then I can turn however I want, whenever I want in the movement. And then this rotation is going to help me find that pathway that mimics the trait I'm trying to develop the most closely, or alleviates pain or any kind of injuries.
Is a lot of this just from you messing around in the gym, or did you learn this from a PT person? Or?
I just mess around. Yeah. I didn't invent any of this, I'm sure. But it's just figuring shit out. You know what I mean? So I'll just pick any normal flow here.
Sure.
So let's just do the crusher, I guess, let's do the grappler. So there's a lot of different ways to attach this band. So one of them is I'll just loop it over myself here. So this will support a lot of the load, right? And then I'll take this here, and then this is kind of my push point. So I don't really have to focus on the band too much, right? There's tons of variations, but every flow is going to start with a sequence because we don't move simultaneously. If you look, everything happens in sequences that are blended together. So the most common sequence in hitting a golf ball, throwing a punch, throwing a javelin, throwing a shot put, throwing a football, throwing a baseball is internal rotation. And some of the commonalities are,
Oh, so your little, microphone.
So let's go over the common universal pattern for most throwing or punching activities is things you don't want to do or get extended over your front leg. So if I throw a punch, I don't want to end up like this, right? I want to rotate around my center of mass so I can keep distance and transfer power and still be able to defend myself or throw a counter punch, right? Same with throwing a football. You don't want to throw like that, right? So what you want to do with baseball, football is you want to rotate around your center of mass so you can stay up.
Yeah, I know Tom Brady, towards the end of his career, which is funny because he was so good for so long anyway, but he said that he would actually take his opposite hand and throw it towards him for that very reason, so he can rotate his spine around his arms, basically.
And so that leads into things like cross pattern, pushing and pulling at the same time.
Right.
So, and you'll see a lot of guys teach keep this up hand high, or shot putters. So it's much like Tom Brady. When they throw, what they do is they'll throw this arm out and then they'll pull it back, and it'll help them rotate without falling out of the ring. So there's commonalities. So one thing I like to do, I like to find the essence, and I like to look for commonalities. And these are all kind of commonalities across different disciplines. You know what I mean? So you're here, and the first thing that normally happens is your backside hip bone will go towards your target. So you don't want your shoulder and your hip to move together because you want to create that stretch, which creates potential energy, right? And a big part of that, it starts with the foot here, is called knife edging here, and the internal rotation of your back leg to push that backside hip towards your target. That. So that works not just for pitchers, but for linebackers too. I used to love Brian Urlacher, and I always look for hips. And when I saw Brian Urlacher's hips go, I knew he was done. So when he went to get in his pass drop, instead of being able to open like this, he would have to open like that. And I was like, oh man, he's got like 1 year left. You know, so being able to disassociate your hip movement from your upper body movement is important in all sports. So that's why another benefit to these. So basically, this comes first here, and normally we start with a shoulder blade or scapula like depressed and retracted. This is more supinated in some way, and we always finish with it a little elevated. I said protracted, I meant retracted. Elevated and protracted like this with internal rotation. So, you know, if you look at a punch, you don't finish your punch like that, right? You finish with a little internal rotation. Same with a baseball throw. So normally in most of my rows and these, you want to finish with your thumb pointed down. Your opposite leg is normally forward here, like that. So, you know, if you look through all the bullshit that I do that doesn't really matter all that much, these are the commonalities. It's normally a staggered stance. There are times when like ellipsolateral is important too, like same foot forward. Normally it's a cross pattern, opposite foot forward. This is internally rotated here, so I don't want to leak energy out that way. Normally my toes are pointed towards each other. Normally this is down. So internal rotation here, internal rotation here, just like that, you know? And it might look a little different on the surface, but those are the common elements. You know? So it just doesn't really matter what flow I do, just pick your favorite. They all have different benefits and drawbacks. Here, start with internal rotation here, create a little tension here in my pec, drive it through. And so when people go back, they want to go back different than they came forward, and they want to go back together, right? So what I do is I'll do it in opposite. I'll let this go back first, get a good stretch here, and then I'll start over. Here, create the tension, knife edge through, tension here. And everybody wants, since it's a rotational movement, they want to rotate their body, right? No, your body rotates so that it can stay close to the object and you press on a straight line. Like when a boxer punches, he doesn't punch like this, you know? He rotates his body so that he can project force straight. Just like sprinters sprinting in a straight line, they rotate around their long axis so they can stay in a straight line. Because we're bipedal creatures, if we didn't do that, we would be all over the place. So we rotate in order to create straight lines. So you want to pick an object here, just whatever it is, rotate through, punch through on that straight line. Within that, and you know,
cool.
I love David Weck, I love all of the core, I love Landmine University, because all of that stuff holds value.
I've only been practicing some of this stuff just, you know, for a little bit.
Really light, let me go.
You know, when you, it's like, man, I wish I was doing this almost the whole time, but it's good to learn about it at some point.
And it's just a small part of what I do.
Just kind of go over one shoulder like that.
Yep.
And you kind of step out.
Yep, and grab both sides of the band, there you go.
Like that?
Yep, it's perfect. And then, you know, like anything else, you want to keep your elbow kind of stacked behind.
That already feels pretty good.
Start with your foot, knife edge.
And am I going to grab with both hands? Or?
You can if you want to, yeah, but you don't have to.
Okay.
And then knife edge here, so inside edge of that ball of the foot. And then you're going to drive through without getting extended over your front leg. So just keep your center of mass here. Yep.
Oh, that's fucking hard. That feels good.
Hold on.
Yeah, maybe a little less.
So don't move this yet. Just move this first. Take this hip bone and point it at that wall. Yep. And then now follow through and bring everything together. Good. And then just point right at my hips first. Always hips first in everything we do. Yep. Right through. There you go. Good. And don't get extended over your lead leg.
Gotcha.
There you go. And now hold this. Punch, hold. Hold. Now. Hips go back, or chest goes back first. Leave your hips towards me. Feel that stretch you get.
Yep.
And then bring it back all together. Now hips first. They're the first to come, they're the last to leave. Hold. That first. Nope. Oh, yep. This for upper body first. Yep. And then hips. And then two more. Hips first. Then upper body. Hold. Upper body first on the way back. Then hips. Now blend it all together in one fluid motion. Boom, boom. Good. Back. Boom, boom. Good.
That feels awesome. I feel that even in my shoulders.
Yeah, so I use it mostly on my upper body days because way to prep my upper body, especially if you get, this is one of my favorites. Wow. So.
I mean, I feel it through my whole The whole entire spine just like woke up like that.
So yesterday I didn't have a lot of time. I needed to get prepped to do upper body. So I just did something like this where I needed a little bit more tension. So I put the band like this, and then I'm here, and then here, it's just gonna start to get the back of my shoulder a little bit, and then I just follow through here. So I'm getting my chest, delt, tricep. Now I'm gonna get my bicep a little bit, and then I'm gonna help it out, and then that gets my rear delt, stretches my lats out here, and then it gets my whole upper body and my core ready to go in one movement. And just see people with a combat sports or boxing background, they tend to pick it up a lot faster just because they're used to that type of flow. And then they can get creative with it too, you know.
And you can kind of fly it almost out, or you can kind of push it more, right? Like you can really just,
and you can
almost like no rules, right?
No rules and no rules. So, yeah, I know it looks strange.
Feels like it unlocks your back, you know, in a way.
Yeah, for me, it's been a huge component to keep my back healthy, because all of the small twists and turns, like your multifidi muscles and everything that helps with frontal plane stability, transverse plane stability, it gets worked. Like you don't have to work everything in a maximal effort all the time to strengthen things. And so it works all of those with a lot of frequency at lower intensity, just like we do most of our days. Like farmers get really strong and they hardly ever max out.
Right.
They're just they're taxing the muscle very frequently. And it's just a small part of what I do, man. Yeah. So a key component of everything I teach my athletes with every movement is the concept of knife edging the feet. Even when they go to plant, is internal rotation with a knife edged foot. It's very important. And then just make sure the elbow's stacked behind the hand. Pronate the left hand, so the other way. So like let go of it and turn the hand over.
Turn the hand this way.
More like this. So yeah, there you go.
Okay, gotcha. I was like,
And then just knife edge. Always start with a good knife edge on that back foot. So inside edge of the ball, the foot's on the ground. Yep. And then hips first. Take that hip bone and point it towards the wall first. Yep. And then finish there.
That's even like kind of almost weird for me to do, especially with this hip. It's a shitty hip.
Yeah, you just got to like there. So that's why like internal rotation exercises are so important, because you got to be able to like keep your pelvis kind of this way and rotate that hip that way. Yep. Just follow through. And one thing too, like let's say I have a tight external rotator, I'll take this hand and I go underneath. Sorry, turn it over and go underneath. And then apply pressure with the back of the hand as you do it, and then I'll start to get the external rotators warmed up a little bit too. And help out that other hand. There you go.
Oh, I see. It's getting like the action of the other arm involved.
Yeah, the back of your shoulder, all those external rotators.
Whoops. Sorry to get thrown around.
Good, hips first. Yep, there you go. Pretend like there's a rod here and you're gonna rotate around that rod. Rotate around your center of mass. Yep.
Well, that gives me something to work on. That feels awesome. Thank you.
Like anything else, when people try to do everything at once, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, they'll like rub your belly, pat your head. Anybody can do that. Rub your belly first, and then just keep doing that, and then start patting your head.
Right.
But when you try to do both at once, you don't know what you're doing. It's just like squat. You don't squat. You first you break at the hips.
I think when I was a kid, I think like a potential problem is I was about this size from the time I was pretty young. And I could move decently, but things were never broken down to me because I was like better than a lot of the other kids around, and the kids around weren't that good. You know what I mean? I didn't come from like, there's certain high schools where the football players and football team are like, way the hell up there. Yeah. I'm from like a town in New York, upstate New York, where just football's not that huge of a deal.
Yeah.
And so I think, and then later on, even in like powerlifting and stuff, like I could overcome stuff just by doing it fast or by doing it a certain way. And so therefore, I didn't always go back and fix it until later on. And when I got into powerlifting more as an adult, I was like, oh, if I don't fix these smaller things, they're going to just continue to rear their ugly head.
That's very similar to mine.
And that's when I was able to start to pass by some people that I thought were way better than me and way stronger than me.
very similar to my background as well. I had to learn things the hard way over time, and I was real obstinate. I hear some of these young guys talk, and it's hard for me to get too mad at them because I had a lot of those same beliefs when I was that age as well. And, the best thing is like, just, okay, man, you'll learn. You know what I mean? Maybe it's best that we just be quiet for a little bit and listen to the older people when they're actually trying to help us, And that's important for me to remember too, like guys like you're older than me. You have more experience than me. Like there's stuff that I still need to learn, and I need to shut my mouth sometimes and actually listen. You know what I mean?
There was something you said, I think in a podcast you were talking about how like when you play linebacker, when you're in football, and any sport really, there's so much shit going on so fast that if you can slow things down a little bit, you can see everything a lot more plainly. You can see when the ball's coming your way. You can see when someone's trying to pass to you, or you need to block someone a certain way, or you need to read the offense or read the defense a very particular way. And something you said was really funny because I think one of your coaches or somebody told you basically just like kind of slow down, like let the play develop.
That guard only does that thing on that one play or maybe two plays. So if you see the ball and you see that guard open his hips because you watched film and you prepared, then I don't care this. Then I know it's going to be one of two things. Or you look down and like you say, if the guy's got white knuckles, well, it's not going to be a pass. Mm-hmm. And so I can, if there's a play action or anything like that, or if his knuckles are always white and they're not white then I don't have to worry about the play action. Because that guy's knuckles are always white if it's a run. So you got to find that one thing that really matters, and that's a metaphor for life. Like, it's just like these. Like, I can do a dozen different varieties of those. That doesn't matter. Like, focus on the two things that really matter, And a lot of our energy, like, I'm big on vectoring, the term vector. And vector is energy with direction. A lot of us have a lot of energy that's unvectored. So we got to find out how do we apply the most energy where it matters the most to get the best results. And football's a great metaphor for that. Well, just like you said, why are you bouncing off walls? We're just going to end up in the same place anyway.
Right. Yeah. So. Have you thought about writing a book?
Yeah, I'm writing one now. It just takes a while. I have a.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I have a
pain in the ass.
It was called. I don't even know what she's called. Agent. Mm-hmm. So same one that did Gabriel Lyon's book Agent.
Cool.
Same one.
And then how hard is it to write about stuff like this?
It's difficult.
It's like impossible, right?
It is pretty difficult to explain. It really is.
But then you have like the different ways you explained it to us, where you have the toes facing each other. Like that's not hard to explain, right? Like the basics of it aren't horrible.
I recently did a post about walking lunging, and like if I had to pick one leg exercise for the rest of my life, it'd be a walking lunge, right? And so the way I walking lunge is I don't try to lunge on a straight line. I lunge under my shoulders, and when I lunge, my feet are facing each other like this, and it creates compression. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, you're going to tear up your knees. It's like, well, I haven't torn up my knees, not through walking lunging. But if you look at like shooters, when they shoot, they don't shoot like this. They don't, whether they realize it or not, their first foot is inside. They're creating compression stability. When you look at a boxer punch, they don't step like that. They're always almost, whether they realize it or not.
That muscle is on you too.
Yeah, they always have compression because this compression allows them to move in whatever direction. So you look at a defensive back, when they break, they don't break like this. They're always toe in. So that internal rotation piece is a big piece. When people walk, I just posted about this yesterday, I got a lot of hate for that too. I'm like, everybody's like, you need to walk more. And you do, get your steps in, but right. How quality are those steps?
Right.
So I was like, instead of just walking, when you take a step, push a little harder through your big toe behind your hips and make sure that when you toe off, your heel is in line with your toe. Mm. And that goes into running too. You don't want to toe off like that. You want to be a little internal rotated when you toe off so that you can wrap towards your midline. So people have hip problems because every time they toe off, they're like that. Mm. Just when you take a step, rotate. We always land on the outside of our foot, so we rotate in, and then out, we push a little harder through your back toe and make sure your heel is in line with your back toe and your knees pointed where you want to go. So your knee is your pathfinder. I always tell my kids this, like if you're here and a receiver crosses your face, your inside knee is going to dictate where you go. So if you boom like that, you're going to go on that path. But if you step like this, where are you going to go? You're closed off. You either got to run here or you got to take time to open your hips up.
You've probably already gotten beaten.
Exactly. So when we teach 5-10-5s, it's like what's the most important thing when you go into that turn is you make sure your inside knee is pointed in the direction you want to go so you create a path here. You know what I mean?
So basically just make everything a little easier, better leverages.
It just focus on the shit that really matters. And the commonalities between things is all I'm trying to tell people. That's like a core tenet of mass method, like my system is focus on what matters. You know what I mean?
What do you think would be like some of the most important things just for, somebody's been lifting for a little while, they haven't really practiced any of these things. Like what are 2 or 3 things that maybe they should do, just kind of open their body up, get themselves to move a little bit better?
That's a great question. The biggest thing I would say is pick one flow and practice it. I don't care what it is. And when you practice it, focus on knife edging the foot. So you shouldn't be on the outside edge of both feet. You should knife edge here on the outside edge, knife edge here on the inside edge. So knife edging and internally rotate and move your hips independently of your upper body. So start to get used to disassociating your upper and lower body when you do things.
And you can even do that as a drill with no weight, right?
Oh yeah, dude,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just practice it, right?
Yeah.
And try to.
Yeah, I mean that's why they see me do a lot of these drills and like that's stupid, but like the ladder drill here, all I'm doing is I'm practicing disassociating my upper and lower body over and over again at sub-maximal efforts like we talked about earlier.
It looks cool if you put some music to it.
Yeah. So they're like, that's stupid. It's like, well, what's stupid is when you go to move and you have to move like this. 20% of my movements at least need to be unilateral. That's kind of my cardinal rule. And it can be up to 40%.
Right.
But for time-wise, like it doesn't make sense to do everything unilateral. It's just.
What's it like people, now having like more of a focus on you? Like that's probably a little new and different, especially with some of your background of being in the military and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, now you have a lot of followers, a lot of eyes on you.
Yeah, I have some like mental health illness, I say candidly, I'm not ashamed of it, where I suffer from some PTSD, a lot of social anxiety. It's not an excuse, but it's like, it's not really ideal for me to be
in that setting,
public figure, for lack of a better word. I don't deal well with, criticism and conflict, and I get really uncomfortable in public settings, like crowds and interacting with people. So it's been very difficult for me. I'm trying to steer away from that one day to where just got to figure out a way how.
Yeah, but I think people need your content for now,
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
they're relying on you a little bit,
And what kind of keeps me going is like the DMs and the comments I get. Like this stuff changed my life. For the first time in 20 years, I haven't had back pain, and every time I want to quit, it kind of keeps me going.
You just want to kind of Brock Lesnar your life, just go live out somewhere where there's not another person within 50 miles of you or whatever.
That's my 5-year plan.
Yeah.
That's why I want to get more into writing and stuff like that, so I don't have to interact with people. I love hate relationship with the fitness industry. There's a lot of simpletons out there that are very confrontational and don't like to consider other points of view. You know how it is. So like with your sugar diet, man, I'm sure you're getting a lot of hate with that. Despite you can explain it, you can provide the evidence, you can say this, I'm not advocating this for everybody all the time, and they hear what they want to hear, and then they attack you without consideration. So.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I don't mind some of it. I've been doing it for a long time, and it just is it sort of has come with the territory.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I do like trying to explain stuff to people, and I do like to try to have people hear stuff out in maybe a longer format. So even if there's some people that don't like it, that immediately have a reaction to it, I'm hoping that over the course of time, and sometimes even the people that are annoyed with something that I might do or something that you might say, they are kind of researching stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not what Lane Norton said.
Yeah.
And I actually think that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm like, oh, that's cool. They are like looking into other stuff, and they've been doing fitness for 4 seconds, but at least they're doing it, and at least they are listening to Mike Israetel, and they're listening to some of these other people. Hopefully, as they grow and expand, hopefully they start to understand, like, holy shit, almost all these people are kind of right. In some way, if I hear them out, they're almost.
I feel that way about like Joel Seedman and Knees Over Toes. There's things that they say that hold merit, and whether you're a paleo guy, a carnivore diet guy, or that you see the value in sugar diets, there's things that they say that are valid, you know.
I love Joel Seedman's stuff. I mean, if you overload your body with partial range of motion, you're able to get some of the benefits of going a little bit heavier, and then you don't have that rigidness in your back and stuff the next day. But now you are missing out on some of the benefits of maybe getting into some of those other positions and those other ranges of motion. So you got to kind of figure that out too.
And some of this stuff, especially at times of year, to be able to overload the nervous system to get the stimulus of just force production limits your recovery demands. So like for in-season athletes, especially track athletes, the amount of full depth squats I have them do are going to be very small. But on occasion, I might load them up and have them do a quarter depth squat just so they get that motor unit recruitment. And it's very easy to recover from. You know, or if let's say you have movement limitations through either pain or just some kind of disfigurement, it's impossible for you to do a full range of motion. If you're one of those people that believes the only way to get bigger and stronger is with a full range of motion, well, then you have nothing to offer that person. But I like to divide and conquer. So like, let's say large ranges of motion hurt people. I get the load with a smaller range of motion, so they get that loading stimulus. And then I have them do some of the larger ranges of motion with much lighter weight, much slower, and with like variable resistance. So that like the lower they get, the less resistance is there, so it feels better. So I'm a big proponent of variable resistance. Unlike Mike Israeletti, he doesn't see the value in it. When you're in a weaker position, even though it's a more valuable position in some regards, because the stretch is where a lot of the growth happens, if you can make that position easier, then you can load the movement more here where you otherwise wouldn't be able to, and you're forced to continue to actively push through that range of motion, so it adds like a ballistic benefit, you know? So I'm a huge proponent of variable resistance training. That's one of the reasons I love bands, so.